Okay, so what's the idea today? The idea was that we're gonna learn about WorkManager, how it's work, how you can build with this. But what happened is this is a hollow example, so we're gonna pass this line by line, understanding the basics of the WorkManager, but it's not enough for you to learn this. So the idea here was a video, and now is has to become a series, and then we can get a little deeper. And then after you watch the series and build along, you can definitely understand and learn and apply for your whatever you're building. So the first idea was cover this in on video, and we're gonna go cover this small example here. But yeah, I have to build this into a series, so you can definitely learn in deep all the steps here. So the synchronous work manager, um, the the workflow itself, um, how these watch the life cycle. So we're gonna learn all of these in deep in the future episodes. Let's say this way. Okay, and before I start, I'm building a platform for Android, iOS, and desktop using multi-platform, Compose multi-platform, and Kotlin multi-platform. So this one, I'm using clouds to build it, and we're gonna we're gonna do lives. So the first live, we go through the package structure and how the architecture is being built, and we're gonna also see if something's wrong or not. I never looked at the code, but the platform is working, and we're gonna finish together, and we're gonna code some parts by hand too. So I think will be a really complete experience, and then we can um, get some YouTube videos from there too. So we're gonna see the architecture, how you building things by hand, building things with cloud, and I think it's gonna be a good experience. So let's present this introduction to WorkManager. Okay, so what is WorkManager for? So it's basically for background work, the one that we want to be executed. So if you want to be sure if something is executed, we're gonna use WorkManager, but this is not at exactly time. So this is why you have this alarm manager here. So if you say it can be delayed by 10 minutes, let's say so. So it's for mm, yeah, it's basically for this. It's for a work that you have to execute, even if your app is killed. So this job is gonna be executed. Okay. We can talk about the theoretical part before. It's not part of this video. That's why it takes so long to explain this. But okay, so in the main activity, I'm just calling this work manager. You can see the status is idle. We're gonna pass here in everything that's happening here, and then we're gonna check the. Actually, let's take a look in this first. So the work manager instantiates class for us. So the work class. So this one here is where we're gonna do work when you are working with a work manager. And this class is basically you can see this get input data name, and otherwise the result of failure, and you do a try catch here. So it's basically they take a file, take a unique name for this, and this try to upload the file. So it's just uploading files here in the background using WorkManager is what this do. So line by line here, what this means. So for the WorkManager, we have an app context here. Why? Because WorkManager is asynchronous, so you have to pass some type of context so you know what you're kind of doing here. I'll talk about it when you pass in the compose context. So we have some parameters here. You're gonna see this soon too, and we just gonna return a coroutine work. That's why worker is a coroutine too. but it's not just a coroutine. Have some perks here that we can talk about in the future. It's why I say this gonna be a playlist. It will be a series because it has too much things to explain, too much things to understand. And honestly, if I just say, oh, you call this the work, you override this, you get the input here file here, and you just call this upload file in this case, so you can, in this case, you want to use your database, you whatever work you're doing, so file manager, so whatever you can use is a suspend fund, so it's why we can use your database here. But you're not really understanding, you're not really getting the knowledge to do by yourself. You just, okay, I have to do work here and just do blah blah blah. So I think it's important to us to understand coaching works, to work to understand patterns, to understand everything that's happened. But let's capture script so this video don't takes too long. So here, in this to work is where we do our work when we dealing with WorkManager. And let's check here. So what you do, we get output here. You use this function here. It's that from WorkManager. So work data off. So you gonna pass a pair here. You can pass many pairs you want, and this work data just returned for you a data object that can be used or listened by this listenable worker here. That's the idea. That's what it is for. Like I said, we're gonna take deeper in other class, and then we're gonna return a result success if it's work. If you have some kind of exception here, this is a global exception, you have to make some treatment, ensure the active here, but we're not doing this because the idea of the series is that we improve this code and do another thing. So yeah, we're gonna improve this, ensure the active, and you can see that we have a retry here, or otherwise we return a failure. So this attempt count, it's from inside the listenable worker itself, so it's not a variable that work that we have, even because our app can be killed or app is closed, so you don't have the way to hold this variable. So this is from the Android X itself, and the max retry will just pass through here because they keep retrying after some time. So it's not, oh, I tried, it does not work, so I try again and try again. No, it's not the case here. I think we can see here that it takes some time. So for example, the minute backoff you can see is 10 seconds, and we have the max too. I think 60 seconds. I think, let's check this one. So we have the max backoff here. Let's check. So you can see this time here is a long time, so whatever. I don't know how to do this count by hand, so 360 times 5 times 1000. You can see it's a lot of time, so it's between this time here. And we're gonna try with some time between the tries, so we ensure. Anyway, I think you got the idea. The upload file is just a delay here, so we're just simulating some network call that's take really long, 3 seconds. And I think that's the idea. So you have the name, you have the case here, the name, and the result key. And I think that's it for this class. For the screen itself and for the WorkManager itself, as you can see here, you get the local context. So as I mentioned, the WorkManager is a process-wide singleton, and we get the from context, and we pass the context of our current composable. And this collect as state with lifecycle. So we collect this in a lifecycle where we can get deep in this later in another video. And as you can see, you have this getWorkInfosForUniqueWorkFlow. So it's, I will talk about these below, but it's basically we keep watching for unique workflow and unique work name. So yeah, I will talk about this because you have these work policy types here. That's the whole idea for the unique work idea. Okay, so you have this work manager. We use this function here. You can have another ones. As you can see, we can get work infos, info by ID, flow, DAG, last cancel. We have a lot of types here. We can talk later. But for this example, you talking about the unique workflow here and collectors state with lifecycle. We can talk about this one in the stage videos. And I think that's it. So the title itself, we get the idle one. So when we don't have one. So you can see we have include, running, and succeed. And here we just have a column with two texts. That's just two texts here, and have a button that call this function here. That's where our WorkManager is in fact working. So the main thing about WorkManager is the constraint, is the let's say the strong part of having WorkManager. So you can see we can build this constraint here. And here we have the set record network type. So we can record for network, we can check if the device has battery. So is literally the constraint. So if it's not connected, so this won't be executed. And as you can see, you have um, network type. So the type itself, network request, so the battery not low, requires charging, device idle, storage not low. So you can do a lot of constraints here to do the best work possible in the scenario you need. In this type here is just upload a file, so I just use network connected here. And you build this constraint, the request itself. So we just describe here which work, the constraint, and the input itself. So the constraint, you just pass this constraint. You say you can put more than one here. So let's Hikari charging, let's say false here. Whatever, I think false is the standard, but yeah, you can pass through here to whatever. And okay, so you set the constraint, you set the input data, so the same work date off. You passing here in this case a hello example as I mentioned, and the file k name is the one you have here. So file k name, key name, and the key unique work itself. So this way you can pass the unique work name, because if you have multiple names, if you have the same name, so you can pass this work policy here that's keep. In this case, this is gonna keep, so it won't duplicate, as you mentioned, as you saw here. You have the replace one, you have the append, and have the append or replace, as you can see. I think the name is auto explain what this do. So, but you can take a pause and take a read here if you want. Yeah, and then we pass the request itself. So this include unique network here will include the work, as you can see. And I think that's it for a really rush introduction. But the idea is that we're gonna take one by one here and go really deep. So for example, I gonna get this kind of unique work here, and we're gonna see what this really do. You can really understand, and we can see the other types of inquiry too. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to us to know what possibilities do we have. So yeah, as you can see, we observe the state and we print. So if we upload a file, it's being run for 3 seconds. Then you can see it succeed. And if you keep doing here, you can see this is just keeping the one we're doing. So for 3 seconds, then it's let's succeed, because we have the same name as you use this keep here. So you basically ignore the other types because, oh, it's the same name. So yeah, just keep this one. You don't not replace. So we won't add a duplicate one. So just keep it existing. It's why I keep typing here, clicking, and it's 2-3 seconds. If it was a different name, if we have another button with a different name, so this one would be added to the work queue. Let's say this way. Okay, so I think that's it. We're gonna do the live. I think in the YouTube, Twitch. I thinking about the YouTube live, not Twitch. And okay, I think that's it. I see you next one, and we're gonna go dive. Honestly, I don't think you can learn just for this hello example. You can have the idea how to build this one, and about the work class here. This override the work function here, but yeah, I think you can see it for yourself too, and you can seek other examples using AI. But yeah, I built a series here so I can look into this one too. So see you. Thank you.